Evil is back for a fifth Evil Dead film, and it gave us a bloody good time. Let's talk about Evil Dead Rise. Hello everybody, welcome back to another movie review, and today's movie review is Evil Dead Rise. This is the fifth installment in the amazing Evil Dead franchise. This one is directed by Lee Cronin in what I believe is his second feature-length film. He's not a very well-known name yet. That might change in the future, we shall see. But anyhow, he did an amazing job making this fifth Evil Dead movie. I had a very good time watching Evil Dead Rise. And Evil Dead Rise actually works as a standalone Evil Dead movie. I'm not sure to what extent the other Evil Dead films are canon for this film. I do not know about that, but it works as a standalone film. So, what is Evil Dead Rise about? Well, it's about this group of friends that are going to this cabin in the woods to spend some time there and have a great time there, having joy at the lake and such. But then they are the new victims by evil. Wait. No, this is not right. No, not this Evil Dead. This Evil Dead is a little bit different than the others. They have a change of setting. Besides the opening scene, this Evil Dead takes not place at the cabin in the woods. This Evil Dead is actually about a young woman named Beth who is visiting her sister and her 3 children in an apartment in LA. So it's taking place in an apartment building. And as soon as the children find this mysterious book, I know what that book is, and some old vinyl from 1923, and they are listening to those vinyl, the evil arrives at the apartment building. That is Evil Dead Rise. But let's talk about the opening first. The opening that still takes place at the cabin in the woods. That's the only scene that follows the basics of Evil Dead, of the other Evil Dead movies. So this cabin, and that's my first positive. That opening of Evil Dead Rise is amazing. It starts as your typical Evil Dead movie, like said, but it feels different. As soon as the first act of violence, when you see the first Deadite speaking to another character, and when she attacks that other character by scalping her, you know, oh, cool, it's that kind of movie. And as soon as the title appears on the screen, you know for sure, yeah, I am in for a bloody good time. This is gonna be a fun ride, and that is what this movie is. This is just a bloody good horror movie. It's really fun to watch from start to finish. So I had a lot of fun watching this Evil Dead. And like I said in my intro, another positive is this change of setting. It's not longer in the cabin of the woods. It's in this apartment building. And just like with Scream 6 set in New York, Evil Dead set in an apartment building feels fresh. It's something new. And yeah, and I think that was needed for this franchise, without knowing it. Another pro are the characters. Especially the siblings. We have 2 sisters and 1 brother. And they have a good chemistry. There is in the beginning a scene with no horror, with no violence, just these 3 children acting along in the apartment, and you feel like there is some fun between these characters, so that was nice to see that scene. Also our main character, Beth, she is a very awesome character. I think she is a very good character in this Evil Dead franchise. Also one of the children, the youngest, Cass, she was also a very cool character. She's still a young kid, but the young actress that played her, she did a fine job, because everything that she went through in this film, Well, that was not your typical things to do for a little kid. So Cass was also a very good character. So it was her first acting job. So really a pretty good job. But the biggest positive I can give Evil Dead Rise is that this film does not hold back on the violence, on the gore, and even on some nasty stuff. Because there is some nasty stuff in this film. But it's a very violent movie. When the Deadites attack the normal people, and when the normal people fight back, there is a lot of violence. This could be very well be one of the most violent movies of this year. Like, for instance, our main character Bat, at one point she got attacked by a Deadite using a rasp. That was just so out of nowhere that that's amazing. And yeah, some nasty stuff as well. At one point, you're gonna see a character whose eye is bitten off by another character. There is even a moment when a character is eating glass, and you really see how the character swallows the glass through her throat. So yeah, that was a bit nasty. And yeah, it's also a very gory film, but it's Evil Dead. So what do you expect? Like, the whole third act was very bloody. Once again, we have characters completely covered in blood, so that was very cool. So yeah, very violent, very gory film, but I don't mind. I like to see that. Like I said, I'm against real violence in life, but movie violence is okay to watch. So that was my biggest positive. But yeah, like I said, it's violent, it's gory, so but it's still a horror film. So the question is this film actually scary? Is it a scary Evil Dead film? Well, as a horror fan, I do not get scared very easily, but I would say there are some eerie moments and even tense moments in this film. Like, a tense moment is when the survivors in the third act are trying to hide from the Deadite in the third act. That was a tense scene. But yeah, but the movie has this eerie atmosphere, especially in that scene. And this is one of my favorite scenes of the movie, and that is when Danny, the son, the brother, is in his room listening to this vinyl from 1923. And on that vinyl we hear these priests talking to other priests, talking about evil and this book. And then in the second vinyl he's reading a passage from the book, and I don't know, the priest has this very eerie voice, and that whole scene had something eerie on it. And yeah, that was a very cool scene. Like, the whole sound effects in this film were very top notch. Like, I saw this film in a laser ultra theater where the sound comes from everywhere. Not really a big fan of that, but for certain movies it really works, and Evil Dead Rise is one of them. The sound was perfect, like when you hear those flies, the score was even eerie. So there is this eerie atmosphere created, so you can consider it scary. And also, last final positive I can give some amazing lines. Like, yeah, there is this amazing line already heard in the trailer. A buddy of mine thinks I'm overusing that line a bit too much, but it's just an amazing line, and that's "Mummies with the maggots now." I love that line. But once a possessed people talks as a deadite, those lines are amazing, and those voices, oh, I love it. So yeah, I'm very positive on this movie. Evil Dead Rise is really an amazing horror movie. There is one small issue I had in the middle of the film that made me a bit concerned. Like, there was a sequence in the middle that felt like a bit of an intermezzo. There was a part of crazy stuff that ended, and I was a bit concerned if that crazy stuff was going to picked up again. Because it was a scene that a bit dragging. Like, we had a lot of characters in the other apartments. some of these characters were killed off very fast, and so for whoa, easy. But the crazy stuff picks up again, and the movie gets really crazy by that time, and yeah, I was concerned for nothing. So yeah, I have to say that I had a very good time watching this movie. I was very entertained from start to finish, and yeah, this is also, like last week with Air, a top 10 worthy film of 2023. If you're an Evil Dead fan, if you're a horror fan, I think you might have a very good time watching this film. And if you are not, check it anyway. Maybe you will turn into an Evil Dead fan and will still have a good time. So yeah, that was my review of Evil Dead Rise. Very good movie, very nice Evil Dead film. Please check it out. Let me know your thoughts about Evil Dead Rise in the comments. Do you like the film? Do you not like the film, and why? And yeah, till the next time.